This is the Huey Alert Podcast with Craig and Shelly Huey, bringing you the tools to transform our nation and culture, the intersection of faith and politics.
Hi, it's Craig Huey, the Huey Alert Podcast, and I'm so glad you joined us. And I'm here with my beautiful bride. You know, she's got fire in her soul, she's got grace in her heart, and deep insight into her mind.
Wow, that's I don't know who you're talking about, but sure, I'll take that.
You'll take that?
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm glad to be here with my bride this time, and we travel. We travel, and there's times where there's incredible transformational value, where it is something that you'll remember for the rest of your life, not because it's so necessarily beautiful or necessarily fun or unique, but because it has a purpose to it. And I'd like to talk to you about some of the places we recommend you should go to.
I mean, I don't know where you live, but the schools here where we live literally just are out for the summer.
That's right.
And maybe they are where you live too, and you've seen all of a sudden kids are showing up everywhere. And you're like, school must be out.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the reason why we're doing this segment, only because everybody that's listening has either A, children, B, grandchildren,
correct,
or C, neighbors' kids or families that you know.
Or churches.
Exactly.
Small groups. So family, friends.
And everybody's, sometimes I've discovered that summers are planned out, especially people that have kids have to plan them out.
Yeah.
They've already booked them for different things.
Yeah. But
there's a lot of open spaces in the calendar, and we're hoping to kind of get people excited about that possibility.
And it's really an exciting thing, what we're talking about, because they're so impactful. So I put together a list of great places to visit from the newsletter, but I want to really highlight 6 today. So Shelly, let me just see what you would come up with first. What would be one of the places that you would tell people it will help change your life if you go to it?
Well, I mean, a lot of things come to mind.
Yeah.
It depends on, location and cost.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But overwhelmingly, a place that I went to with you just last year, in my opinion, was literally mind-blowing.
Yes.
And it's a no-brainer.
Yes.
For anyone to go. I don't care how old or how young.
Okay.
The impact that it made on me.
Yes.
I have to go back.
Okay.
And there's very few things that I can think of where you would say that quite honestly isn't a place that has rides.
Okay.
This place does not have rides.
What is
it? It's Noah's Ark.
Oh, okay.
What did you think I was
will
say?
take you back to that.
Well, you liked it too, right?
Oh, yeah. The Ark experience. So let me just tell you.
Well, I'm talking about the real Noah's Ark that's in Turkey.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Sure.
Kidding.
No.
Haven't been to that one yet.
So, not yet, but she will. Here's the thing. We went to the Ark experience, and this was so incredible that if you've got kids or grandkids that are maybe 5 or 6, you've got to take them. If they're teens, you've got to take them. If they're young adults, you've got to take them. If you're just a couple, you've got to go. If you're a single, you've got to go to the Ark. Mm-hmm. So Shelly and I are in this little bus that's going up to the Ark after we park our car. And what happened? What took place?
Well, the parking lots are not near it, so you have to take a shuttle bus to get to it. And we're sitting there going down this road that's a little turny, and you're kind of going up a little bit of a grade. And all of a sudden you come around this corner, And I wasn't paying attention to anything. And all of a sudden I look out the window and wham, there's the Ark in the distance. And I like practically screamed. I couldn't believe it.
You did
because
scream.
It was like so overwhelming. It was like, oh my gosh, this is like real.
Yeah.
And we kept getting closer and closer, and
it kept getting bigger and bigger.
bigger and bigger. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because when you read about it in the Bible, you know, you can 100% read all sorts of commentaries on the size and
see cartoons
or watch movies or whatever.
Movies.
But it's something completely different when you see it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's just amazing because they literally got it down to the exact specifications that are mentioned in the Bible.
They did.
And that's the part that is so incredible. Just seeing it. I didn't even need to go in it. You know?
But you did go in it. And let me tell you, what we found inside was mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. Give a hint, an example of what you saw as we went through.
So, there's multiple floors that you're going up and ramps on the floors to get you to the next floor.
Right.
And along the walkways are things that are describing what you're about to see. And when you get into the areas that are separated out for the animals and how they stored the food and how they brought fresh water in, what they did with that.
Yeah.
And there was like all these different sections that you could pull away from where it described creation and the flood and so much history. Yeah. So you can do an on the surface walkthrough with the Ark without going into any great detail and still be overwhelmed. If you go into the great detail and take it from a standpoint of, I'm college educated, I want to learn more. What are all the meanings of this? And who believes these types of things? And where else is the Noah account found?
Yeah.
And then it becomes a college education.
Total
so
college
you have
education.
the whole gamut.
Yeah.
You have the draw and the lure for a kid.
Yes.
That's even preschool age.
Yeah.
All the way up through PhD level.
Absolutely.
Type stuff.
For example, it covers questions like, why were there dinosaurs? Mm-hmm. You know, how would you feed the animals on the Ark? All these different questions that people would have about the Ark, it's there.
Right.
The whole story of creation is there.
And the whole story of creation with the,
Yes.
what is it, the Creation Museum? Is that what it
Well,
is that
the
what it's
Creation
called?
Museum's number 2.
Okay.
So, but the creation story is there with the Ark, but the Creation Museum is about 45 minutes away.
And it goes into much more detail.
Much more. Probably a little bit older kid would have to be there, though they have things that are hands-on for younger kids. But it is something that the total focus is on the whole issue of creation.
Right.
And what a powerful 4 or 5 hours
the thing that was cool about
the
the Ark experience is they did have shows. They had live music.
Christian music, band after band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they had all sorts of places to eat.
Oh, yeah.
The food was
They had a
actually
zip line for older kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it's definitely fun. I'm glad we spent a couple days there because we wouldn't have seen all of it.
Well, exactly. To me, and you correct me if you disagree, I would say you'd want to spend probably 2 days at the Ark and 1 day at the Creation Museum.
Right, and you can get ticket packages that cover both. Oh, yeah. Kids are free. I didn't know if you wanted to mention that, but you're not paying if you've got a kid. And there's lots of accommodations in the immediate area. And if you wanted to go stay up in Cincinnati, that's a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
This is because we're from California. What's such a trip was for me to drive up there. It only took us like 5 hours from our house in Tennessee to drive to this section of Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
it was an easy drive.
So easy drive for people that live in Tennessee or Kentucky or Indiana or Ohio. I had no clue those states were around there. Why would I know that? I mean, you know what I mean? And so what was fun was when we were exploring that, we got to explore the river there, the Ohio River.
Yeah.
And, fun dining everywhere you go. It's just, it's a great trip.
But it has purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't leave the Ark and the Creation Museum without having a better appreciation of God's Word and a better understanding of what the Bible is talking about.
Mm-hmm. And, I'm going to add one more thing, too, is if you're not familiar with the story or you don't read the Bible, because I've talked to people that have gone there that fall into that category, and they're just like, they come out of it thinking, that was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes a big impact on everyone. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're coming from.
It does. Number 3, the International Museum of Communism. I'm recommending that you go to this. It's new.
Where is that?
That's in Washington, D.C. Anybody that's from maybe...
With all the other museums.
Yeah, with the other museums. This one is special because you will go away with understanding why socialism is so bad, what communism really is, and you'll see what they're not teaching in schools. You'll see what has been forgotten of the history of communism that's alive and well on college campuses, that's right now existing in communist China, right now in Cuba and Venezuela and other countries, and you'll see what people had to do to escape.
Well, so when I was there with you, I once again, history is not my thing.
Not your thing.
So I had to have the pictures with the little simple descriptions underneath them, which was perfect because I really was like, I was blown away. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, you were eating it up because that's your thing.
Yeah.
So once again, it's all backgrounds can benefit from it. And if you only learn by looking at pictures like me, then you'll be like flipped. But I left there feeling like I knew way more than what I did when I came in, and it was also very sobering because what saddened me was realizing that, kids overwhelmingly aren't getting this information.
They're not. And really, to go through that entire museum would take probably 5 or 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You probably can get a real good sense of it in an hour and a half or 2.5 hours, but you really should spend more time there if you really want to take it all in. And so that would be I guess that's number 3.
Well, lots of families do go to D.C. over the summer. Summer's just nuts in D.C. So, the top museums there are flooded with tours and groups and people. This one isn't as busy because it's not on the mall.
It's not on the mall. It's not well known, so there's no crowds. It's easy to go through. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different feeling. Now, there is one also in Washington, D.C., number 4, that we recommend that is crowded.
Oh, yeah.
And that is?
The Museum of the Bible.
Oh, yeah. Tell the audience why this is something they have to go to.
We first went there when it opened.
We've been there multiple times.
And it's got, I want to say it's got 7 floors. I can't remember. But we're like, let's strategically do this.
Yeah.
And so we went all the way to the top and worked our way down.
Yeah.
I was stuck on the floor, like I think it wasn't the very first floor, I think it was the second floor that we came down, and it was showing the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
And the history of the writing of the Bible.
Right.
And I was like floored. I couldn't believe what I was seeing and reading, and you were pulling me to go to the next thing. Like, are you done? And I'm like, no. I mean, it was so much, and it was so rich.
Yeah.
the different things they had there, insane,
Unbelievable.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The one that really made a huge impact on me, and this is, I'm a very visual person. We walked into this display of countries and Bibles.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the facts that were laid out for the person that was observing this was all the different languages that were represented and how many Bibles that country had access to within the languages that were represented there. And it's so overwhelmingly insane when you look at there's a lot of people that are in this world that don't have a Bible in their language. And that was the purpose of that display. I have a feeling that Wycliffe was one of the sponsors of that display because that's what they do. They're Bible translators.
Well, you've got the sense of evangelism, but you also have the sense of the persecution of Christians that are displayed there. You're talking about the history of God's Word and the development of the Bible. You've got biblical archaeology.
Yeah. You know what's cool, too?
Yeah.
And I just laugh when I see this. Throughout the museum, you are seeing displays of things that science has discovered that were in the Bible. And it's like, oh, you mean man finally figured it out?
Right.
And it was already in the Bible. And so you kind of snicker and laugh, but I don't know.
This is
one
of those
really
things
cool.
where you need to bring people, as many as you can, and it is powerful. They have concerts there, Christian concerts.
Oh, and they also have a theater there.
And we saw
The Horse and His Boy.
is C.S. Lewis play, and they have different plays there all the time. So there's another place. If you're in New York, maybe this isn't a trip that you would take just in New York to see, but if you're in New York, it's a place you have to go to, and it's called the Cloisters Museum. The Cloisters Museum.
Oh, yes. Asher showed us that. That's our son. So when he was like, come on, we're going to go to this place I want to show you.
Right.
And we're like, oh, great. What does that mean? And it's like, how far is it? And we're sitting in a cab in New York. I kept saying, Asher,
where
are we going? And finally, we get to this museum, and it was unbelievable.
I thought it was just an ordinary museum. No.
Yeah. It had artifacts, history, antiquities of going all the way back to, what was it? What era was it? The medieval era?
But way back there and before.
And everything was Christian based.
Yeah, it was.
It was like,
it was a Christian art museum, basically, of artifacts and paintings and statues and all kinds of different things. And I personally like collecting Christian art, especially ancient ones.
And Asher knew that. And boy, was that powerful. So it's the Cloisters in New York City. And there's one more I think we should talk about for this podcast. What's that?
It's a fun one.
Okay.
It's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Oh, Dollywood.
Yes.
Of course. So you're saving the best for last.
So, okay. So Dollywood.
It's typical attractions, rides.
Yeah, rides. If you're those in
park.
California, if you're used to Knott's Berry Farm, it's kind of a Tennessee Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, because it's not all crazy. Let's pray that we don't die type of rides, like Magic Mountain or some of the other places.
But it has purpose to it as well. So you got all the rides, roller coasters for the kids, and you got all kinds of stuff. But it has Christian music at different times. Dolly makes sure that there's God's word embedded within her films and her displays that she has there. You go in and you see her stories or these different films, and there's the gospel message in them.
Right, and didn't we go into this one building, and I want to say it was next to like one of the train rides or whatever. We're like, what is this?
Oh,
we
yeah.
walked in.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we watched a film
Yes.
of her history.
That's right.
And it was all unbelievable history.
It was
Dolly
the
Parton's history is
gospel,
amazing.
The story of Christ crucified and rising from the
And
dead.
how she grew up
and our
poor
salvation.
and how, just everything
It was
about
all
her
integrated.
is so family oriented and so God glorifying. You sense it when you walk through there.
You do.
The thing I found very refreshing being in the park the first time was seeing people actually having fun and families and no gangbanger. Hey, let's do that. Trust me, I've seen enough of that.
That's right.
In other amusement parks, which I will not name.
Yeah.
But the vibe there was really fun.
Yeah.
Lots of grandparents with grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
We went one time to a concert there, a Christian concert. They closed down the park for it. But it's, my goodness, if you can't go in the summer, book time for the fall because it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous with all the leaves that have changed. Right. They go crazy at Christmas time with all the lights and the trees, and it's just a fun park.
Well, she's fun to go with, but listen, these places, these 6 that we've talked about, they really will be life-changing, not just places to visit. And they're ones that you want to bring family and friends, church members, encourage them to come if you can, because it does have an impact on a person's life. Now, in our newsletter, in Huey Alert newsletter, we're going to publish a few other of these places that Shelly and I
and if you
recommend.
Look to the link below, you'll be able to see where to find that.
Yeah. So go and take a look if you don't get the newsletter, because we'll have that, and you'll be able to see some.
Well, the best thing
places.
you can do is send this podcast to a friend or a neighbor.
Yes.
Or a family member.
Thank you.
Say, hey, look, I just heard this. I think you guys might be interested. And it's fun. It's just fun to share something like that because it's tough to find. I mean, sure, you can go to TripAdvisor and you can do all that stuff, and people do, but a lot of times you won't get firsthand unless you read reviews, and a lot of times you don't know if those guys are legit, right?
Yeah. So, God bless you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this week. We are listener-supported, so please consider partnering with us by donating at craighuey.com or by signing up for our free newsletter. We look forward to being with you next week. And don't forget to share this podcast with others.
Hi, it's Craig Huey. And you know what's exciting today is that in Washington, D.C., we're finally seeing the dismantling of the deep state. Never before have so many ideologically driven bureaucrats been fired. And what is happening is going to be transformational. You see, these ideological bureaucrats are the ones who are embedded within the federal government, the massive government complex that is basically destroying our freedoms, involved in censorship, against religious liberty, the ones that are helping hurt our economy. Because what these ideological bureaucrats want to do is they want to transform our culture and our politics through the government. And now, with the disruption of Trump and the cabinet picks, that is being dismantled. So what is the deep state? And when you hear about this, what is it? Well, that's why I wrote this book called The Deep State, 15 Surprising Dangers You Should Know. In this book, I talk about what the deep state is. I explain how it began. I talk about what they did in the last 5-6 years. In this book, I talk about Obama's secret army, the group of bureaucrats that Obama implanted to be able to subvert Trump from ever being able to hire people he wanted, and why their plot did not work. And you're going to read about so many different things to get an idea, even of media collusion with the deep state. Want to know what the deep state is? this is the best way to learn and find out. So take a look on your screen how to order this book. I'd be glad to sign it for you. And if you use that QR code, or if you use the text to be able to buy it. If you buy it on Amazon, you'll get it maybe a day or two sooner, and I won't be able to sign it, but you can get it also on Amazon. You can get an audio version of the book as well. And so be sure to get my book, The Deep State, 15 Surprising Dangers You Should Know. Thank you.